You can sit wherever. If you want to sit there, kick your feet up, or you can be in this corner, whatever one works for you. I think I'm still figuring out the best setup. You're officially the first guest to have in here, so I'm figuring out the best camera setup. But I was thinking we'll both be on the couch. So if you want, you can either hold a mic, or you can sit there, whichever one works for you.
We're not playing any pickleball, that's why. And dude, Presley is so anti.
I'm not like anti. I'm just like I'm on court so much with tennis, with coaching. I'm like the last thing I want to do when I'm done for the day is like my hobby is like go hop back on court.
Yeah, that makes
Even
sense.
though it's like I have fun when I play, everything's already good, so we're ready to roll. Just I don't know. I want to get into it, but also it's like I don't have the time. And then it's also so much tennis adjacent that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it as my hobby.
So, and with Garen, you're like still the guys and the girls, right?
Yeah. So I'm in guys season right now. And then girl season starts in usually the beginning of March.
Okay.
So yeah. And then summer, just doing summer camps, all that jazz. So it's awesome. I love it. Like it's genuinely the most fun thing in the world, but I'm on court all afternoon. Like today I'll be on court 3 to 7.
Yeah.
It's most of my afternoons. Sometimes matches go later. So it's like
how, like, cause like you probably like didn't even realize like the parent drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like you knew as a tennis player, like growing up, but like that's gotta be a big part of the job. Just managing that.
Yeah. Cause growing up around tennis, like you hear about the tennis parents all the time. Honestly, the parents I've dealt with are awesome. Like incredible. And like you get the conversations. I think the biggest thing for me is coming at it from like I get it from a parent perspective where like I'm coaching this year. We have, let's say, I think 42 kids on the team. I'm coaching 42 kids.
That's insane.
Yeah. Which is weirdly the smallest team I've had.
Really?
Yeah. This is like weirdly small compared to what we've had. We've been in like the 50s most years.
Yeah.
So like I'm coaching all of them and they are coaching their one kid. So like I get it when I have those conversations. It's like I get it. Like you see it from your kid's perspective.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
You're obviously gonna be like passionate about it, amped up, and biased because like you.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I think growing up around tennis and seeing tennis parents has kind of helped me for that. But I think early on, especially, there was a little bit of like, what does this kid know? Like I got the job at 22.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, holy, like, and it was Garen. Like it wasn't like bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I don't think I knew. I was a little naive going in. I was like, oh crap! All of a sudden, I'm like in charge of all these kids, and like,
and what are you? 25 now?
25. Yep. I'm in year 4, which is really weird for me because my first class of freshmen are now seniors.
Okay.
So we just had senior night like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, this is like real for me. This is like, I saw these kids from 14 to 18. Yeah. And like, they are like adults now.
That like the development and progression has to be like awesome.
So fun. Yeah. It's so cool. Like it's been very fulfilling for sure. But, all right, man, what's new with you? Like I feel like the last time I had you on was at least a year ago, maybe probably longer. Maybe like 18-ish months, but like I feel like things have grown quite a bit.
Well, so it was, grown like professionally for sure, but then like also like Isla, Hannah and I had
congratulations. I should have led with that one. Like that's a bit.
Yeah. So I mean, my title, if you want to put it across, is Daddy D. Yeah. Affectionately. But you have, your brother just had a kid too,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. I have a nephew who turns 1 in 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Okay. So Isla turned 6 months next week.
It's awesome.
So it's like that's like the best thing of all time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And we had some, fertility issues, which makes it even more special getting to this point. So it's like, you can prepare for it. You can like, I have 3 younger brothers. So like I grew up like, not necessarily changing diapers, but around, kids and babies and whatever. And then like a lot of my buddies are on kids 2 and 3. So hearing the stories, but then actually being, parents, Hannah and I and dad life, like there's nothing like actually getting into it.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. But then with Cracked, man, so I can't remember if it was last summer or 2 years ago that I was on.
It might have been 2, honestly. I'm now thinking about it, which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember like the no shoes, because we were in, the Bridgewater setup, and then the Dr. Pepper. So we'll have to have some Dr. Pepper.
Oh, dude, I have no Dr. Pepper. What I do want to try to put you on, what's your relationship with caffeine?
It's a requirement. Yeah.
Okay. I'm usually the same, and I'm trying to wean off. Like, I've been good about coffee. Like, I don't want to have too much coffee.
Sure.
And energy drinks, unfortunately, I've been dependent on, but I'm trying to wean off. I have been drinking these. I don't know if you've had these, the Propel Energy.
What?
Dude, no. It's 100 milligrams of caffeine. I usually have like 1.5 of them.
Yeah.
Do you want to try one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a big Propel guy in general. I didn't know they had caffeine.
These things rock. I swear by them. I try to put everyone on. It's literally just tastes like normal Propel, but actually 100 milligrams of caffeine.
Interesting.
I swear by it.
Yeah.
I've just been I have these now instead of like energy drinks throughout the day.
Is the pod like sponsored by Propel?
Not even a little bit. But if they wanted a Propel, reach out. Like, not even a little bit. But.
Oh my God. I haven't even heard of this.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's either going to be huge in a year or no one.
Yeah, you can't even taste it. So my big thing with energy drinks is like, and my business partner, Daniel Westhoff, he has been drinking Rock Stars since like we played high school tennis at St. X, and he would get the big boy Rock Stars like before school and then before practice. And I don't like the taste, like the sugar on your teeth, and Celsius is a little better, but you can't even taste it. It's legit.
Yeah. And it's so cheap. Like I literally buy like a 12 pack for like $10 on Amazon.
It just says energy boost on here. Like you can't even,
I keep imagining.
This is dangerous.
Dude, I think a parent is going to buy like Propel for their like 6-year-old. And then they're going to be bouncing off walls like that because it's barely labeled. It's just like, oh yeah, it has energy. 100 milligrams is like no joke.
Oh my gosh.
So you get a little 6-year-old with like 2 of these, they're going to be bouncing off walls.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean, my like lawyer antenna is going off from like somebody's going to get sued somewhere, but I'm sure Gatorade, Propel, like they've got.
You'd think they'd figure it out. So with that, so where are you at with balancing all of that? Like, are you still like full time? Like what's your balance of lawyer, Cracked, being a dad, like at this point? Like, and you're playing pickleball at 6 a.m. every morning.
Sure. Too. Yeah. Well, I got to get out with your dad and the Bridgewater boys at Pickler for sure. That's got to happen.
Yeah.
But it's, dude, I'm still, and you're the same way. Like I'm a guy that like cannot say no.
Mm-hmm.
And, I like being on the couch in this kind of setting, but not just like idly like sitting and watching Netflix all day, every day. So, I mean, I'm still doing the lawyer, like attorney thing in the political realm. I've scaled it back a little bit, for like clients that I've sourced and that I'm kind of passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully, like I'm still doing that job, but I love what I do there. But for Cracked, we've rebranded to Cracked Media Ventures.
Yeah.
So that's the parent company. It was a little awkward with us, like in pickleball and volleyball and these other verticals, and like getting the Cracked Rackets email out to those administrators. Yeah. So the rebrand this summer was pretty good and seamless. We got the website up, we got the social media handles out there, but the whole kind of game plan there, and it really was from the start, was like, we know tennis. We know there's a huge void from a broadcast podcast perspective. We want to go like dominate the college market, prove concept there, and then scale into other sports. And that's what we're doing now.
Sweet, dude. And so do you, like, I hear you talk about the balance of like, you still have your lawyer stuff and you still, now, obviously you're super passionate about what you guys are doing with Cracked now.
Well, and let me interrupt real quick, because you asked a question and I didn't even answer it before. Like I can't even give you a percentage breakdown on a week-to-week basis. Yeah. I'm not even going to try to do that, because the other thing is I also am working as a, not necessarily an agent, because I think that's a dirty word, just like a lobbyist or attorney. but a business manager in the reality world, which I can't wait to get to a little bit.
Okay, dude. Like, okay, so much.
So there's
another
feather in the cap that we got to talk about.
Do you see yourself like? Do you embrace that? Like, I need a little bit of everything, in terms of, because like I see it from the same perspective. For me, it's like I love coaching. I love doing this. I love a lot of different aspects. Like, I couldn't go all in on just one of them, because I think maybe doing that would burn out, or I don't know. Like,
yes.
Do you enjoy that balance, or do you want to like eventually like, hey, I want to be all in on this eventually?
So I think like for me, and it sounds like the same with you, like we have a lot of different interests, and it would like, I would have an itch that would need to be scratched if I went all in on one of these. Yeah. And like, at least in my world, these universes collide, right? So like the attorney political world, like I'm getting information that actually helps on the media side. And then like also like the skills and that kind of deal making and like the thought process of like how deals are made, like coming to the table and like figuring that out politically has helped on the media side. With procuring like broadcast deals with, NCAA, ITA, ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12. But those skills also translate into the business manager world in reality TV. So I'm, obviously following my interests, like what I care about, but the skills translate pretty easily too.
So something I've kind of been wrestling with recently is like the idea of like hobbies, because I think you, very similar to me, it's like you kind of built a career around the stuff you're interested in.
Yep.
So it's someone would be like, oh, like, what do you do like for fun? I'm like, well, it's technically work. You know what I mean? So it's like hard. And like, I kind of wrestle with that mind. I'm like, do I have hobbies? Like, do I do something that's like not work related? And like, you have like, obviously you play pickleball in the morning. I see you posting at 6 a.m., which is intimidating as hell, because I wake up and I'm like, damn, Dalton's 2 hours ahead of me. He's already played pickleball for 2 hours.
And that's like 99% of the reason that I post, where I'm like, I'm going to get Wyatt. Like, he's going to like, this is going to push him.
It does. No, thank you. Appreciate it. But like, I don't know. How do you feel about that in terms of like building your work around the things you like? Because I think sometimes I get in my head about that. I'm like, maybe I need some time for me to step away from work and just like live life a little. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I think there's like right now in society in general, not to get too philosophical or whatever.
That's what the pod's for.
I was a philosophy major too in college, by the way. I was pre-law and then philosophy, so double major. So it was pretty cool that one.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
But I would say like there's this whole argument about work-life balance and like, having time for work, having time for family, having time for interests or hobbies. Like you said, I'm more of like a work integration person. So like my work is stuff that I give a shit about and that I'm interested in. So like all of that kind of meshes together with me. So like for me, even playing pickleball with your dad or the guys at 6 a.m. at the Pickler, I'm also representing Alex Crum, who's a pro pickleball player. So I'm getting it all kind of comes together because I'm seeing who's all there at 6 a.m. Are the courts filled up? What merch is being pushed there? So I don't know. I don't necessarily have work and I don't have hobbies. It's all the same to me. I just kind of do what I enjoy doing. And that may sound like crazy to most people because they're like, dude, I hate my job going into, corporate office and like going up and pushing paper, or like, I have to have these like carved out moments throughout my schedule so that I can get away and have an outlet. Like work for me is that outlet. I love what I do. I don't know.
I very much understand that. How do you turn your brain off? Do you ever turn your brain off?
So if no, seriously, like this, I love this. And like, I ask a lot of like, mentors or people that I look up to, like, how do you shut your brain off? How do you compartmentalize? Like, do you turn your phone off at night to like be locked in with family and that kind of stuff? Cause I think that's important, but if I had one superpower, cause I know you're a big, Marvel guy. My superpower is compartmentalization, like my ability to turn off my brain. So like I can go from, downtown at the State House and have like 4 meetings representing the police, and then go and have this kind of setup talking about cracked media ventures and the media world. And then go home with my daughter and just completely forget about my to-do list that's piled up or like what I just did that day.
Yeah.
And I also, same thing with like when my head hits the pillow, I'm not thinking about all the things that I like need to get done or like stresses or pressure that I whatever for the next day. So that's my superpower.
That is a superpower.
What about for you? Are you able to?
No, I'm asking that because like I'm so bad at like doing that. Like I see my brain going other places when I'm working on this, and then that to-do list piles up. And then I was gonna say, do you do anything specifically to make that switch, or are you just like, I'm so used to dividing this up?
Yeah. And I wish I could like help with this if this is something that you struggle with. But I think I just naturally have it.
Yeah.
Like I know my dad is very much like this too. But are you a to-do list guy? Like physically?
Yeah, I write it. I'm starting to write it down physically. I used to have it just on my phone, and I'm starting to like slowly work on like actually writing it down.
Okay. So I like right when I wake up, even those 6 a.m. mornings with your dad, first thing I do every morning is write a to-do list.
Okay.
Or modify my like to-do list that I didn't wrap up from the day before. And I like will put them into 3 categories. Has to get done today. Would love to get this done, and then we'll get to it. Hopefully.
Is this pen on paper or is this phone?
Notes
app. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I like to think that it helps me be productive because I check it off, but it also, I think, mentally helps me like, hey, like this is a priority. I have to get this done. And also allows me to like be present, whenever I am home. Like if there is one more thing that I need to get done, I'll go and get it squared away because it's on the to-do list. But yeah. It's something to try. I told Presley the same thing because he's like, dude, I sit up at night thinking about like what I should have done today or whatever. Like it helps.
I've been focusing more on like, because that I think you know how this goes. Like that to-do list is never ending. There's there's always the idea of like, oh, I could be doing more
for sure.
So I think I've been trying to focus more on like, what's the one big thing? Like make sure I get this done today. If the other stuff falls and like life happens and gets in the way, like at least I got this done.
Yeah.
Like I think that's been better for me rather than like this. I'm like, oh crap, that's overwhelming. Like I'm behind now. And then you get behind, you're always behind. I think when you're doing something similar to what both of us are doing, it's like, there's always stuff to do
for sure.
So like, I think that's why it's hard for me to sometimes turn my brain off because I'm like, but I could be like working right now, or like I could be being more productive. Like even like social situations, I'll find myself like, oh, do I really need to be hanging out with my friends right now? It's like, yes, that's important. I should be wanting to do that, but then my brain will go to work sometimes.
And that's like, honestly, like in the content game, media, like social, like you're like always like there's a new trend or something that you could be posting or doing more like, and that is hard to shut off. But I do think from a to-do list perspective, that's why distinguishing just making a to-do list and writing down like what everything you need to do, that can be overwhelming because there's probably 100 things on it, but like breaking it down with those tiers, prioritizing.
No, that's good. What is, you mentioned like compartmentalizing is your superpower. On the flip side of things, is there something you're like, oh, I could work on this, like this I can maybe address this more and do a little bit better?
Yeah. My, it's, what is it? September like 18th, whatever. I already have a New Year's resolution, and that's what my weakness is saying no, or not saying no. So saying yes to everything. So like my New Year's resolution is saying no, to more, like I've even like hopped off a couple, nonprofit boards that I thought was important from like a community engagement standpoint, like helping, things that I was passionate about, raising money, that kind of thing. But like now, especially with Isla, like you have a daughter, it puts things into perspective from a time management perspective. You can't just do it all.
It's just priority shift. Like everything bumps down a notch. Right?
For sure. So spending more time at home, saying no, and then putting the phone down. Yeah, that's really hard too. Yeah.
No, it's tough. Same thing. It's like, again, you always want to be tapped in or like know what's going on. I'm trying to get better at like pushing that away. It's like, all right, I can put my phone down for an hour. And like, I've been trying to write more. Just I always like, I loved writing growing up, but I just never found an avenue to do it. So I'm forcing myself like 1 hour a week to just turn my phone off and just write about anything.
Is this like journaling?
Or it's starting as journaling right now. I would love to venture into more just like weird shit and just start writing about whatever.
Yeah.
Just to like work that muscle, like that creative muscle a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's not even like for anything. I'm not putting it out there.
I was going to follow up. Be like,
because that's where my brain goes is like, oh, how can I like monetize this or put this out more? Like, it's kind of nice to have something that's kind of just for me.
Sure.
So like, I think this is very new. So like, I'm only like honestly a couple weeks into it, but I think it's something like that will be good for me to just kind of flex that creative muscle a little bit, but also like just kind of keep it for me. So then I can prioritize other stuff a little bit better.
Have you like done any of the like trendy, like 75 hards, like fitness?
No, but I probably could, like, should do something. I would love to. Again, that's another thing where it's like when you're working all the time, you're working on stuff. It's like sometimes, hey, I want to work out more. I want to go on runs more. Like, again, that to-do list adds up quickly.
Yep. Well, so, and the reason I bring up 75 hard, I do it once a year. I've done it once a year for the last 3 years. It's no alcohol. It's 2 60-minute workouts outside. Each day during the time, but it's also right when you wake up, instead of me getting on my phone and doing the to-do list, it's 10 minutes of gratitude journaling.
Okay.
Which like is such a good, like, just going into the day, like seeing, how blessed you are and how grateful you need to be, like starting your day off like that is a game changer. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what you're doing from a writing perspective, but that really helped me.
When do you normally do it? The 75 hard?
Yeah. So it's tough. Like in the political side, like the legislative session is January through end of April.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of entertaining involved, but I did do that in 24. It kind of meshed over, but I did it this summer actually.
Okay.
So it's not even like a weight loss or like that kind of thing. It's more of like a cleanse for alcohol for sure. But then also like the cognitive and like, memory recall that you get from it, and then the perspective with the gratitude
and just like I think that discipline too is just like probably really
it's
good.
Tough. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Kind of back to Cracked now. I want to go back to like the very beginning because like obviously it's changed and it's always evolving. Like this whole side of things with media, social media, everything changes day to day. But when you first started, like, what was that first spark? Like you have a bunch of energy and you throw yourself into it, like that passion like has to stay there. What was that first? Was it a tennis standpoint? Was it a business opportunity? Like, hey, you saw this hole in the market. Like, what was that first spark? Where does that energy kind of come from?
Yeah. I mean, I come from a like family of entrepreneurs, both sides. So like, it's not just my parents. It's not just my, pap on my mom's side or it's like I have a lot of, like, in the family tree, there are a lot of entrepreneurs. So I've got it running through my blood for sure. But also for Cracked specifically, it was just like, I come from a big tennis family. I'm a big tennis fan. I was in an old man's like 4 or 5 USCA league back in 2016, 2017. And this was not business focus at all.
Yeah.
Which I think is key for people that are like, you always hear like, I need a side hustle. I want to start a business. What should I start it in? How should I need to do this. I think it's like, following your passion and you'll find a void and you'll prove value and it'll become a business, which is what ultimately happened here. So like we were talking about it at that point, it was Coco Gauff, who was like 14, 15, winning junior slams. And then it was Tommy Paul, Taylor Fritz, Tiafoe, Riley Opelka. Those guys were winning junior slams, not just competing for them. And, after USCA League, we're talking about, I want to see like the ins and outs of Tommy Paul or Taylor Fritz. Like these guys are going to bring American tennis back to the glory, where the 90s of Agassi and Sampras and those guys, and you couldn't find any content on them.
No one's talking
about
it.
And so I was pissed. It was like more of like, as a big sports guy in general, basketball, baseball, football, like you have anything. And, I think we've talked about this before, but like there was so much like blogs and like, the shoes that they're wearing, the songs and artists that they're listening to. For tennis, it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the origin story and that initial kind of like, what do we need to do to change this for tennis?
Okay, nice. Now, looking at it nowadays, like I'm sure you're thinking years ahead, and I want to talk about the reality TV stuff. I want to get to that, but like, where do you see like a year from now? What are you excited about? Like that next step, like you're in a situation like this. What are you like begging me to ask about?
Yeah. Well, so it's still like the storytelling piece and like building up like the players and characters in this like tennis universe are still big. But it's the broadcast element now. So, 2017, we start Cracked Rackets. 2018, Presley, my youngest brother is, top 15 in the nation. As a recruit out of high school, he's going on recruiting trips to some of the top schools in the country. Yeah. And as the older brother, I was with my parents, like pretty intimately involved in the process. And I was floored that most of these schools only had grainy streams for their coverage. So like, especially now coaching and Coach Y, like, tennis parents are really, really involved in this journey. And so I knew not only me and my brothers, but my parents, like we're going to watch or be at every single tennis match. And the fact that these schools only had a grainy stream was mind blowing to me. So we did something about it. We partnered with PlaySide, a streaming company. We provided commentary. We've got custom graphics now, instant replay, live scoring integration. Like it's not a Super Bowl level broadcast, but it's something that you can watch and follow, and it's like legit now. So what I would want you to ask about is like, where do we go from here? What like coverage, not only in tennis, but otherwise, do you have a plan for the future? And with Cracked Media Ventures, the rebrand that we did this summer, we want to copy and paste what we've done in college tennis with all Olympic sports.
Okay.
And in doing so, we've got a proprietary remote broadcast software that's similar to NFL Red Zone that we want to deploy for schools, for leagues, organizations to like basically broadcast their own product.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it's basically like a SaaS NFL Red Zone product.
Yeah, man, that's because I've noticed that with you guys, like even just locally. I have a ton of connections, tennis world, and like I have friends who play college tennis, and there were opportunities where like, oh, I can watch them now. Like even like D3, I remember D3 championships. I'm pretty sure that was you guys. I'm like, oh, I'm able to watch my friends play in this. Like where 5 years ago, whatever, 10 years ago, like there would be no opportunity. I'd follow like a site that maybe is updating the score.
Sure,
maybe, but now it's like, oh, I can watch this, and I think I've noticed a ton of people like. In my life who aren't tennis people be way more interested or show interest in tennis in terms of like, hey, like I'm enjoying watching this. And honestly, I think a small part of that is probably you guys, they're seeing it on social more often. They're seeing it there and they're like, wait, this is fun. Where like the only other way to watch tennis before was, oh, I turned on during the majors or I'm watching the Grand Slams and maybe I'm lucky and I saw a tennis match I liked.
Sure.
Like you're not, I think it's the idea of like, you have to see it so many times to eventually like it click and you're like, oh, this is something I'm interested in. And because people are living on these things,
for sure,
you weren't seeing tennis on your phone like 10 years ago.
Well, especially for those like, not only like casual tennis fans, because, with tennis, it's one of those like country club sports that you either grew up with it or you didn't. So our whole, purpose for Cracked Rackets was to bring it to the masses and show like how like unintentionally funny tennis can be, how great of a sport it is to watch, not only like top 5 with like the big 3 and Serena back when we got started, but in the college realms, all D3, D2, D1, like there's really, really high level. And those, college dual match atmospheres are insane, by the way. It's not like the, buttoned up Wimbledon that everybody kind of envisions. So, yeah.
And it really is like on the pro level specifically, is like a reality TV show. And you saw it with what was the Netflix documentary?
Oh yeah, Breakpoint.
Yeah, like you kind of get an insight, like it's kind of a reality TV show. You have a bunch of characters, they basically travel the world together and they're competing against each other at like the highest level.
For sure.
And so you can see like the more you see those personalities, because there are a ton of personalities there, the more the sport can grow. And so you can start following these kids maybe in college. You're like, who is this kid? Well, I've seen him there and now he's working his way up to the pros, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and like that kind of storytelling, we even want to grow even further within tennis to start in juniors. Yeah. So like Kalamazoo, still there's a stream for the finals, but there's no commentary. Mm-hmm. We finally did Billie Jean King for 16s and 18s on the girls' side the last 2 years, which I think is important because, you have, I think on the women's side, there are 4 or 5 teenagers that are top 50 in the world, and starting to tell those stories when they're, 15, 16, 17 breaking through it's going to be even more important for that casual tennis fan watching the Open. And it's like, Coco Gauff didn't just come out of nowhere. Like she's been doing this for 4 or 5 years, like before she got to that stage. So the storytelling arc is huge, and that's the whole point of this.
Everything, right? Everything's stories. Everyone wants to hear a good story, and like
for sure,
you got to be able to cover it and talk about it.
When you talk from a reality TV perspective, you're talking about like the gossip, and like these people are just human too. Like there's a lot of drama out there, just like we're seeing with, I don't know if you're following the Brooks Nader with Sinner and Alcaraz, and it's like, what is going on there?
It's crazy. People are not talking about that enough.
Yeah.
You have the 2 greatest tennis players in the world right now who are competing like for every single Grand Slam final. And all of a sudden this girl's like, I was dating both of them during this.
Yeah. Which how many tennis movies have we had that were like mainstream? We had Challengers just the last year or two. And this is the exact plot of Challenge.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And again, every time I see it, I'm like, why are we not talking about this more? This should be the #1 headline on like every entertainment news website ever.
Well, so she was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen last night. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw a clip. I think I saw a clip on TikTok.
So she basically was like, guys do this all the time. Where they date 2 girls at once. Why can't I? And then she also said, I also have a different definition of dating. So I was with both of them during the US Open, but like I wasn't dating them.
Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. That feels like a good transition into reality TV. Yeah. What do you have going on there? What's like your foot in the door, and like where do you stand with
so I think like obviously you have BachMakers and you've like done such a great job building the brand there. Like our kind of into the reality TV universe. Daniel Westhoff, my business partner, is like a huge Big Brother fan.
I've recently started watching this season. One of my roommates watches it, so I've like peeked in. And
interesting. Well, I can't wait to hear like from like a strategy perspective, like if you're like how in, and if you're like gonna get in enough to go back. Like
I'm still figuring it out because like I've only watched maybe 2 episodes. Like last night I watched an episode, so I'm still figuring out like the gameplay.
Yeah.
And like I'm like head of household. I don't even know what that means. There's like these, all this stuff. So I'm still figuring it out. I'm new to it, so I'm dipping my toes, but we'll see. I'll report back.
That's fair. Well, I'm eager. Like this is how it all starts. Like 1 or 2 episodes, it pulls you in. And this season's been like crazier than normal, I'd say, in a good way. But so Big Brother was like our introduction into reality TV. I've been watching it, for 10 plus years with my family. So we started a podcast, of course, a couple years ago and started having house guests on the show as they left and got evicted from the Big Brother house. So Joe Pucciarelli from New York, it was 2 seasons ago, gets evicted. He comes on the show. We hit it off. I start kind of helping him on the business management side a little bit. And the rest is history. We still have the Big Brother Survivor pod. But now I'm helping a Real Housewife of Orange County on the business side. And I can't share too much more than that, but it's like, you think politics is a crazy drama-filled world until you get into this reality TV universe. And it's
I'm
insane.
Sure. Just behind the scenes. Like, is there anything that's kind of shocked you? Like, oh, I didn't know it happened like that. Or like any other thing where you had a perception of what that behind the scenes would look like? and it's like totally different? Or
yeah, so I'd say like the biggest takeaway of the last couple of years is how manufactured everything is now. I think reality TV, like, a decade or two ago, was in its infancy stages, and it was like unfiltered and raw, and people didn't even realize they were being filmed.
Yeah,
like they just came on, they were like partying and just like didn't care. Now it's very much like not only on like the personalities and people that come on the show, but on the production side, it's very manufactured for those viral moments.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful, if you get, a talent scout comes in and picks you, you're pumped to go on Big Brother. You got to be careful about the edit that you're going to get, because they don't show everything.
Yeah. It's a very interesting world right now with like, we talk a lot about on our show of like, everyone always argues, especially for the Bachelor world. It's like, oh, are you there for the right reasons? That's always the big question, which I think is at this point a very dumb argument at this point, because we're at like when the Bachelor first started, no one knew, social media wasn't even around. So like there was no like, oh, I'm going to get 100,000 followers, like regardless, so I'll be okay. Like this is an opportunity to like be famous. Basically, that wasn't really an option. There was like, if you were the Bachelor or Bachelorette, sure, yeah, you'd have a certain level of fame because people are watching this. But as a contestant, there wasn't like a guaranteed path. Like, hey, I'm gonna get a couple followers, like at the minimum. Now, if you go on the show, there's an expectation of like, yeah, you're gonna get some followers on Instagram. So I always argue like no one is there for the right reasons. Like there's an argument where the love and finding a relationship out of it is just a bonus for being on the show. And I think the show itself has struggled to accept that. Yeah. Because social media is now it. And I think The Bachelor specifically has really struggled to integrate social media into their show. Like they do a really bad job of it. Love Island crushes it.
Oh yeah, great.
They're so good at like, hey, we know what this show is. We're very self-aware, and they use social media very well in terms of like engaging the audience. And it's a different format because it's basically live. It's a few days behind and it's every day. So it's a little different in that standpoint, but I don't know. I think The Bachelor's in a very interesting spot, and they just made a move that I think is a really good one where I don't know if you saw.
I saw
Taylor Frankie Paul is the new Bachelorette, which I don't feel like you watch the Mormon Wives show at all.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely bonkers, but I think it's a really good move on their part because they're just basically saying like we're by putting someone who's already famous, already established as the Bachelorette, it's a totally different shift for their show because now it's someone who doesn't need the show, if that makes sense. Sure. Where the past Bachelors, Bachelorettes, there's someone who like, hey, if I want to be famous and I want to like make this my career, yeah, I'm going to say yes to this and like be the lead. You have Taylor who she will be fine without the Bachelorette. Yes, this will shoot her into a different stratosphere of fame, but it's actually, from my opinion, more likely that she's there for the right reasons because she doesn't need it. Sure. She's already famous. She's already a huge star. So it gets tricky now with contestants who maybe like this season's going to be massive because of her. So I'm more likely to go on, but I think it's a good shift for the show, but it'll be very interesting.
Do you think that was an intentional choice to bring her on, like knowing the dynamics and how influencer-y everything's gotten? Or
I think so. It's also interesting because they own, like ABC owns the show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So it's like we're keeping our talent in-house almost.
Oh yeah, that happens.
So it's very interesting. I think it's going to be a massive season just because of name value of her. But I think it was a very intentional choice because ratings have just been down and people have been on them about casting. Like the contestants have been poor. And so they needed a shift. Yeah. I think they're shifting away from the older generation of Bachelor fans. And those are the people who are upset about this decision.
Sure.
Like there's the people who are like, they like, again, unfortunately don't quite understand social media, don't understand how everything works. And they're like, I want everyone there for the right reasons and do this. And I don't know. I think it's a really good choice. It's going to have some pushback, but I think long term, it's probably a good choice for them.
Yeah. Well, and I'd say like if the Bachelor franchise, Bachelorette, like if they're not going to like completely shift the structure of the show, the contestant like choices are even bigger.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in Big Brother. Like, I feel like the last couple seasons, like they've had some duds for who they've picked for house guests. Yeah. This season, it's a rock star cast for a lot of different reasons. So those talent scouts, like it's a big deal. But I mean, are you seeing, because I don't watch Bachelor, Bachelorette, but for Big Brother, like you're seeing like manufactured one-liners that like you can tell that these house guests like were either working, you know, prepping before the show once they like found out that they were going to be on, or they're working with like an agent or business manager or whoever to like have a whole portfolio of their lines going in. Like, is that happening a little bit too? Or
it's definitely, so the most recent season, Bachelor in Paradise, is very interesting because they totally changed the format. So I think I'm seeing it more on like the production side of things where they are trying to manufacture a TV show rather than like the basics of reality TV. It's like basically hidden camera. If you forget you're on camera and let's see what these people do in an environment where they really like they included a cash prize for the first time. It wasn't just like you could potentially get engaged. It was $500,000.
Holy cow.
Which everyone was like, how do they have the budget for this? Because it was like a dying franchise. They canceled it last year. And so they brought it back. It's been 2 years since there's been a Bachelor in Paradise season.
Sure.
And so they have a new showrunner they brought in. And I think they're like, it wasn't a perfect season. I was happy that they were trying new things because they needed to try new things.
Yeah.
But more from like the cast itself, because they're all previously on a season. So I think they're coming in a little less like guard up or like, I'm going to put this line in, I'm going to do this because they've been on a season before.
They know what to expect too.
Yeah. I think they know what they're walking into. So maybe they're a little better at like playing the game rather than coming in with a complete strategy, but there still is that aspect of it. Like, hey, I want to make sure I get a good edit.
Yeah, for sure. But I think you're like onto something with like the Bachelorette being somebody who doesn't have anything to gain.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more of that in reality TV across the board.
Yeah.
Because it's they either need to do that or it needs to be unfiltered from like maybe more drinking or something to get back to like the early days. Because it's right now like, you know, and Real Housewives of Orange County is experiencing this a little bit. You either have franchises that have like an older cast that's like not going to be around forever. So they're like trying to get some new blood in there. Or you need to have people that like aren't coming in trying to get famous because it takes away from it, in my opinion.
And I think just social media in general has kind of shifted all of that because that was like everyone can go on this, go live, and just like you can see who they are. Yeah. If that makes sense. So like reality TV.
And most of them come on and they have like their buddy or somebody running their socials while they're on the show.
Yeah. And like, well, social media in its by itself is basically reality TV for everybody.
For sure.
Like everyone has an account. And like, if you want to see what this person's like or what they think they're like or what they want to put out there, they can do it on their pages.
Yeah.
So reality TV is in a weird spot now. And I think, it's just integrating social media as much as possible and like having that be a part of the show, which again, Love Island does very well. And there's a few other shows I'm sure do it well, but you have to accept that as part of the game.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
Because then it does feel manufactured because it's not as authentic. Like The Bachelor can be sometimes. It's so structured. And then you follow these people on Instagram and they're so different.
Yeah. Well, so for like Love Island, for Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, do they do, because Bravo started doing this the last couple of years. So like Vanderpump Rules, Summer House, The Valley here recently, where they'll have like during the season, as it's airing, they'll have the cast come back on and like they get to see in real time the interactions and response on social media. And you see the contestants or like housemate like actually reacting to social's response. Like, are they doing any of that?
Not in the Bachelor world because they film everything so far in advance and they're not bringing people in. Love Island, it becomes a part of the show. Like there was one episode where they ranked, we had everyone voted. So America voted for like their favorite couple and their least favorite couple.
Okay.
And then they revealed those results live to everybody. It's like,
so you get to see their reaction.
Yeah, reaction. Like, hey, you're the most liked couple.
Yeah.
And then, or you're the most liked girl on the cast right now.
And you see people just like so pumped or so pissed.
And then people start acting differently.
Yeah.
And like, it's a really like fun and weird and maybe fucked up social like experiment
Yeah.
to be like, hey, there's this girl that America loves. On the show, they weren't treating her like the best. Maybe there's a girl, Maya, who ended up winning Love Island.
Yeah.
And on the show itself, like the cast members like were kind of iffy on her and they weren't like I don't know. But then they found out that she was the most liked by America.
Sure.
And then everyone started acting a little differently around her. The guy who kind of turned her away was like, hey, by the way, like, I'm really sorry about that. Like you can see the switch.
Yeah.
Cause like, and it's so interesting to see that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think integrating that is part of what makes it. That's how reality TV is going to have to work moving forward.
Yeah. No, I totally, cause like early days. So like, and I'm old, right? So Real World, The Challenge.
Not that old.
Old enough, you know. But you know, early 2000s, like social media wasn't a thing. But now it's so like ingrained in our culture that like it has to be a part of it. So like shows that don't adopt it in real time, like that's gonna be a huge miss.
And you mentioned something very interesting that I kind of want to talk about, like with social media. I think it really like is our culture in a weird way. Like I had this argument with my roommates. I was like, the TikTok algorithm by itself is like the singular most important thing to our culture right now.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure there's arguments against that, but if you think about it, like what the TikTok algorithm feeds you, it can control what everyone's talking about.
For sure.
And so like there's right now it's being sold and there's talks about, so a couple Americans will buy it and there will be a American only like algorithm. They'll come up with their own algorithm for TikTok, which I think is so like Black Mirror type like conversations, because if you think about it, like they can control what we're talking about, what we see every day, because that's so many
what
kids
we buy.
What you buy. Like TikTok Shop is weird and wild. So it's just like, I don't know. I've always come into social media with a very positive outlook of like, this is a cool way to connect with people in a way that we could never connect with before. Like I can find someone on TikTok or Instagram who lives in a different country, different state, whatever it is, and I can connect with them. And I never 30 years ago would be able to really connect with that person or like get to know them and see what their life is like and gain that experience. But like recently I've kind of gone back and forth. I'm like, there's some really like scary aspects of it that could come about. So I don't know. Like overall, it's a weird question, but like, what is your relationship with like social media being in this field? And just like personally, like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah. And it's like, it's even like, I look at it even more differently now as a dad too. And I'm sure as a coach and like a new uncle, like you're looking at it differently, but I think we have a different level of exposure and understanding of how important this is and how like the consequences actually impact us on a daily basis, more than like the general population who are just hopping on their phones and thinking they're like getting the news or like getting, you know, the sports updates, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's, I look at it like, you know, very transactionally, not only from a coverage perspective, but I know like everything on there and every platform, right? So TikTok, X, Instagram, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Everyone are trying to sell you something. So I like, that's how I see it from like, it's spammy. But it's also like kind of, you know, to your point, you said TikTok, like the algorithm is the single most important thing. Like, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's hard to disagree and push back on that because it does have such an influence on the general population.
Yeah.
But I think for like me with Isla, like I'm going to like restrict her screen time and like watch what she's consuming on there.
Yeah.
Cause it's scary.
It does feel like this new generation of like parents is like understanding that a little more, where I think there was like, I think we have maybe one generation above where it's like, I don't understand what social media is. It's scary. So stay away. And then the next generation is like, I understand what social media is. It's scary. Stay away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a little different. Oh, hey, Ryan.
Hey, man. What's up, dude?
It's the beauty of this podcast. We can just be open.
It's sweet that it's outside too, honestly.
I know, right? You get some fresh air.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting to see like what that next generation of kids because it's still so new.
Yeah.
Like I grew up, I didn't have social media until 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens after that. Like now you have a generation that's grew up with it. They've had it since they were kids.
Yeah. But I also think it's so this is social media, but media in general. Like we're now in a society that like you don't just go and turn on the TV or turn on whatever and you're getting like unbiased news. Like back like in the 90s or like when our parents were growing up, everyone was watching like one or two like stations. Like that's all they now we can go and kind of double down on whatever our opinions or beliefs or values are into our silos. And like we can follow the, account on Twitter or on TikTok that we want to like double down on
confirmation bias too. It'll confirm everything. It's like, oh, you're right. It's like, yeah, I knew I was right.
But I guess like, as a, in the business of media and social media, I want to make sure that like from a broadcast perspective, not to like come full circle on this thing. Cause like for podcasts, like you can already go in and like whatever topic, if it's sports, reality TV, whatever, you can go in and kind of listen and whoever your personality is. For broadcasting, it's still not there.
Yeah.
And reality TV too, but for sports, like when you're watching US Open or like here locally, like Nishesh draws Novak Djokovic first round of the Australian Open this year. And, we're all watching it here locally. And you have to listen to Johnny Mac commentate. And he's like, who is this? He's like not saying his name right. He has no like idea of his background. And we all know in the tennis community how much it takes to get to that point to be playing the Australian Open. Like there should be where you can go in and choose who your commentator is.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we're working on with that remote broadcast software is like, you can go in and watch, hopefully the US Open one day where you have 20 different personalities that are commentating. You can go and hang out with them basically.
Yeah.
Similar to podcasts.
Yeah. I that's like the element of just having a choice, I think is very interesting now because there's so many options to like get information and get your news, get like, do you know how many people like me included, like I get my news from Twitter. It's whatever Twitter feeds me, I will see. And like, that's a weird thing to like come to terms with. I'm like, that's whatever they feed me is what I'm going to see. And like, again, if you want to feel like, hey, I'm right and like not push your beliefs or what you think about, like you can find channels that will just confirm everything you already think.
For sure.
Which is like terrifying, but also like, again, I think it's more on us as like the people to like understand that. And I think just like, I don't know. I've thought weirdly about like,
well, and how do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we do that? From an education standpoint?
I don't know. I come back because I have a communication degree and like we talked about different, like a lot of media bias and like, it's just so new, our access to everything in the world. Like what do history books look like 80 years from now? It's like, what side do you tell? Because you have the same information being presented multiple different ways. It's not just like, because we read history books growing up, you're like, this is how it happened. This is what occurred.
Well, but and I'll push back a little bit, just as like a political nerd, whatever. Like the history that we learned in school was the side of the winners, right?
Yeah.
So there has always been bias in like the storytelling, like since the dawn of time. I'd push back.
Yeah, no, that's so fair. That makes a lot of sense. And that's almost like a sad thought. You know what I mean? And I know we're probably going to wrap up here soon. Like, I don't want to leave on that sad thought, but like, I think it's important to think about.
Yeah, for sure. But I also like, I just want to unpack the, cause you said like, all right, like I know going in, like I get my news from Twitter. I go into like whatever social media platform. I know they're biased because we're in the industry, but there are still times where I even forget that. So like your general consumer, like how is that going to change? Like, how are you going to change that shift of like, hey, like whatever information you're going in, like you're getting sold something. Like this is like
I think I just honestly, you need to have conversations about it and like talk about it rather than just like get in your bubble of scrolling and taking it all in. And a lot of that is get off your phone a little bit and just connect with people. I think that's a big thing is just like, once you get out, you can get in your hellhole of doom scrolling and then be like, the world's over. I hate everything here. And then you go outside and meet a guy for coffee and you're like, oh, everything's okay.
Yeah.
Like there are good people out there.
For sure. And honestly, on that point, I'm a big believer that we're going to see a renaissance in like live events and more like community engagement and interaction, because like you can be on this phone, 15 hours a day, every day, and there's not going to be like a healthy outlet. Like the real human to human like connection, I think is going to come back in a big way. Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. I'll leave you with this final question. Is there anything you are either watching, reading, or listening to right now that is kind of positively impacted your life?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You can do all three. You can do one or the other.
So
how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
I'll just take it. All good. Oh, new show. So fun. Welcome.
Hey, you guys have a great day.
You have a great one.
Take care.
I love this. I love this so much. How it's the best part of
it. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a viral moment. Like he's probably seen the setup before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's seen it. Yeah. We might be I might have him as a guest.
Have him on.
I should have.
That's like a Theo Vaughn.
Great idea. Yeah. I should have him on. That'd be fun.
Yeah. A positive. So typically, I like would have like read a book recently, or like a podcast that was like overwhelmingly positive. Yeah, I mean, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight is always something.
I just finished that. I guess I read it last year, but read it for the first time.
Nice.
Rocks.
Yeah, it's a cool story of like a random dude in Oregon builds this like shoe empire out of the back, trunk of his car. So that's pretty inspiring. But no, this is actually like not positive or whatever. It's not negative either, but it's just, do you know Tim Robinson? Like, are you familiar with him? So there's a new movie called Friendship.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to see it. I've heard it's hilarious.
It is like I Love You Man, if you remember. Yeah. Paul Rudd was in that too. But it's basically like a cringy, you can't stop watching version of I Love You Man. And Hannah and I watched that here the last couple weeks. And like, I haven't seen a movie that we like both were like literally so uncomfortable the whole time, but also like died laughing from the cringiness and comfort level. So it was like, it was pretty like, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I know I need to watch it. And like, I love stuff like that where it's just like, I don't know how to feel about this, but I'm feeling something. So it's like, it's much better than just being numb and being like, this doesn't affect me.
Well, and that's the Tim Robinson playbook for like us, comedy or whatever. But
awesome, man. Well, hey, I'll let you go now. I appreciate it. This was fun, man. Thanks for checking out the studio.
Dude, I am a big fan. I will be back. And this is like prime location too.
Yeah, it rocks, man. I love, you see people walk by, just like passing boats. You're like, hey, how you going? Just stop on in, grab a mic, let's talk.
I love it. I'll check that episode out for sure. Well, and I already crushed the Propel, by the way.
Dude, so I'm telling you, I'm going to put you on.